With the incredibly shocking and terrifying news that Donald Trump is nominating Matt Gaetz to run the DOJ as his attorney general, it is difficult to find anything positive in the news that we've gotten today. That was until a video appeared of Republican Nancy Mace mocking and really nuking Matt Gaetz with a certain comment about certain relationships that he has had with young women. And it's not great for Matt Gaetz. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really means the world to me. Now, before we get into that clip of Nancy Mace and some breaking news about Matt Gaetz, I want to hear some excellent commentary from friend of the show, Tim Miller, about some of the appointments that Donald Trump made today.
Because I felt like I was smoking crack when people were like, it's not going to be that bad. Marco Rubio is totally normal. I mean, it's going to be fine. And I was like, you think? Now we're back to Donald Trump with a 43 to 46% approval rating, a ceiling that wasn't visible last Tuesday. And the reason he was as unpopular as he was for his entire presidency is because he surrounded himself with people that didn't inspire confidence that the central missions of a promised Trump presidency, fighting crime, some sort of coherent and tough policy on immigration, and keeping America safe from whomever he describes as our enemies. I know it doesn't include Russia, but his own list includes Iran, as he himself is a target for their malevolent actions. These are not the people to do anything competent. The Fox and Friends anchor, Tulsi Gabbard, or Matt Gaetz. Your reaction?
And Nicole, well, our reactions are aligned as usual. Last night, I felt that way with the Hegseth nomination. So I was like, okay, we don't have to live in this stupid world where people are going to pretend like Donald Trump is going to be nominating serious people or whatever. Yeah. And we can just see the truth.
I should have called you. I should have called you because Jeremy Basher's on my show. He's like, the Senate's going to hold the line and he's going to do, and Donnie Deutsch sat here. He's like, looks good, looks good. I'm like, what? We're in year 9. Like, you could say those things in year 1, but year 9, he always caves to his weakest, most insecure instincts.
Indeed. And the Republican Party does, right? And so, I don't have a crystal ball for, which rare moments we'll like see the tiny spine of a handful of 4 Republican senators over the next 4 years. But you're not going to go bankrupt betting against them to show any spine against Donald Trump in the coming years. I certainly don't think they're going to stand up to his cabinet appointments. Who knows? Maybe one of them. It's hard to what exactly would be their rationalization for not appointing somebody like Matt Gaetz or Pete Hegseth after they supported a felon for president? It's like, well, Matt Gaetz had some allegations against him. Well, you supported a felon for president who is indicted in 4 different jurisdictions. Well, Pete Hegseth is unserious. Well, you supported a reality TV host who was a scam artist who had a failed university and failed water company for president. So, there's no rationale for being for Donald Trump for commander in chief and not whatever, ridiculous alignment of characters he chooses to be around him and his cabinet. So I find the whole thing, to your point about people's reaction yesterday, I was just, looking online and listening to your previous guests, and it's like the reporters on the Hill saying that John Cornyn is snorting and people at the Pentagon are aghast. And it's like, where were all these people? Obviously, Donald Trump was going to pick his cronies and TV show hosts to run the government. That's what he told us he was going to do. And so, I think that there are some people, the former the establishment of the GOP now is MAGA, but the former establishment of the GOP, the ones who remain, John Thune and all of them, they're in for a rude awakening as these hits are going to keep on coming. And I expect that most of these people, if not all of them, will be confirmed and possibly confirmed by a recess appointment, which would be an unprecedented destruction of norms. But that would just be the latest in a long line of unprecedented norm destructions.
This is the world that Republicans voted for. It's what they've inherited. It's what they asked for, and it's kind of what they deserve. Now, of course, the rest of the country doesn't. You and I, those who warned our friends and families and anyone that could hear us about how dangerous this Trump administration would be. But it seems like no one learned, or no one paid attention or cared. But now they're going to have to with someone like Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. And we know why he is, or why he could be. It's because he will do anything that Donald Trump asks. He'll go after his enemies. He'll protect him from prosecution. And Matt Gaetz himself needs to be protected from prosecution. It's not just me who knows it. It's Republicans as well. And that's the joke that Nancy Mace made right here.
We all knew that Matt Gaetz would never let the vote get to 18. I hope that C-SPAN has a buzzer or a bleep because this shit is about to get real, okay? It only goes downhill from here. I do have a message from Matt this evening. He really, really wanted to be here tonight, but he couldn't find a babysitter. To be his date, I mean, come on.
Everybody in Washington knows the truth about Matt Gaetz, but some just seem to not care. And it's the expectation that I have for most Republicans, even though some have come out against him. We have seen Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins express their doubt or go as far as actually opposing the nomination of Matt Gaetz. And we need to continue to put pressure on the rest to do the same. Because there's a reason why Matt Gaetz wants this job so bad, and there's a reason why he resigned his seat today, and some breaking news that I want to get into right here. Breaking news from Punchbowl's Jake Sherman writing, Matt Gaetz' resignation from Congress comes 2 days before the House Ethics Committee was set to vote on releasing a highly damaging report outlining its investigation into the Republican. The committee planned to vote Friday on releasing the report, but ethics loses its jurisdiction over Gaetz when he leaves Congress. It all becomes so clear. Matt Gaetz is leaving Congress to avoid accountability in the form of this report, which Congress can still release if a majority of those representatives on the committee choose to do so. So it's time for one Republican to step up and vote in favor of it because the public deserves this information, and we need to make sure we pressure Congress to do so. But Donald Trump saves Matt Gaetz from this highly damaging report and, once again, puts him in his pocket even more. That is what this is about. Donald Trump is surrounding himself with the craziest and closest cultists that he can. And it's not just Matt Gaetz, but it's Tulsi Gabbard as well. And speaking of which, Tulsi Gabbard, her appointment reminds me of a certain clip from the 2020 primary, her and Pete Buttigieg, that I want to check out right here.
Pete, you'll agree that the service that we both have provided to our country as veterans by itself does not qualify us to serve as commander-in-chief. I think the most recent example of your inexperience in national security and foreign policy came from your recent careless statement about how you as president would be willing to send our troops to Mexico to fight the cartels. As commander-in-chief, leader of our armed forces, I bring extensive experience serving for 7 years in Congress, on the Foreign Affairs Committee, on the Armed Services Committee, on the Homeland Security Committee, meeting with leaders of countries around the world, working with military commanders of different commands, dealing with high-level national security briefings, understanding what's necessary, the preparation that I've gotten to walk in on day one to serve as Commander-in-Chief.
Congresswoman, thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'll allow you to respond.
I know that it's par for the course in Washington to take remarks out of context, but that is outlandish even by the standards of today's politics.
Are you saying that you didn't say that?
I was talking about U.S.-Mexico cooperation. We've been doing security cooperation with Mexico for years, with law enforcement cooperation and a military relationship that could continue to be developed with training relationships, for example. Do you seriously think anybody on this stage is proposing invading Mexico?
That's not
I'm
what
talking
I said.
about
That's not
building
what I
up.
said.
I'm talking about building up alliances. And if your question is about experience, let's also talk about judgment. One of the foreign leaders you mentioned meeting was Bashar al-Assad. I have, in my experience, such as it is, whether you think it counts or not, since it wasn't accumulated in Washington, enough judgment that I would not have sat down with a murderous dictator like that.
Pete Buttigieg knew it then, and we know it now. Tulsi Gabbard is incredibly unqualified for any job in government, which is the exact reason why Donald Trump wants her in his cabinet. Because again, this is just his process of doing favors and making sure that he has the craziest cultist around him. The people who will serve only his interest all the time. He doesn't care about competency. He cares about his cult and making sure he can go after whoever he wants. That's what this is about. And it's time Republicans recognize that. Now, it doesn't seem like they care because, you know, when you're already voting for the felon, it seems like Tulsi Gabbard, the Russian asset, isn't that big of a step in that direction. I don't know which is worse, but they do have an opportunity to show a little bit of spine. Do I doubt that that'll happen? Yeah, because they never have before. But we can try to put pressure on them in this moment, this time that we have. And we're already seeing some Republicans break and order in favor of making sure that Donald Trump can't appoint these type of people to his cabinet. Let's take a look at Lisa Murkowski right here.
I don't think it's a serious nomination for the Attorney General. We need to have a serious Attorney General, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to consider somebody that is serious. This one was not on my bingo card.
Have a little spine for once. I know that's a big request out of Republicans, but unfortunately we are counting on you to just do what is right, what is in the best interest of not Donald Trump, but our country for the first time in your career. Can you manage a little bit of a spine, a little bit of a gut? I don't know. Maybe they won't. Hopefully they will. But it'll be our job to hold them accountable. And that's what we're going to be talking about on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.